Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to this LinkedIn Live that we have specifically planned for our LinkedIn audience of NICF today. So today we're gonna talk about a very interesting topic, and I guess it's one of the most hot topic and most of the biggest concern of the founders that they should not be behind the world due to this. So that's why we have planned this LinkedIn Live with a very amazing guest with us today, so that our founders can learn like what are the true basically strategies to automate your business and what automation journey looks like for specifically for the early stage founders. So guys, please welcome Hamza, the founder of Hexona Systems, to this LinkedIn Live. How are you, Hamza?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm excited to talk all about AI. That's what I do all day. And I'm excited to share some of the insights I've gotten over the last couple of years talking to robots all day.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let's jump dive directly into the question, right? So how early stage startup founders can actually automate their repetitive tasks?
Yeah, so there's a lot of functions that they can automate. What I like to focus on is on the sales process because I think that's one of the most important pieces. An early stage founder, you can't really afford to mess up on the sales process. If you get a lead, that lead needs to be nurtured, followed up with, converted, and you have to do everything
Yeah.
you can immediately, right? I think bigger companies, they have the luxury of being slower because they've got higher lead volume, but you guys need to, be on it. So what I'd recommend is creating speed to lead, right? So speed to lead agents, where a second someone says they're interested in your product, they fill out a form on your website or respond to an ad. You need some sort of automated systems to send them emails, SMSs, WhatsApps, maybe now even dialers, where an AI will dial them and say, "Hey, I saw you were interested in our product. Can I help you get scheduled? What are you looking for?" And just help you close that process because the quicker you are, the more chances you have of closing that deal. In terms of other things, obviously, any task that you guys spend your time on, any low leverage tasks. So that could be sending an invoice, for example. Those should all be templated. And from a click of a button, when you update it in your CRM, the invoice gets sent out, contract gets sent out. Onboarding is something that is very low leverage because it's a repeatable task that you're doing the same way every single time. So why do you manually have to do it when you can automate a lot of that process, especially with things like Claude? Now you can build beautiful onboarding
Yes.
flows and documents and make it very interactive. So that's
Yeah.
something that we focus very heavily on. And if you're early stage, then please only focus on the highest leverage tasks. Everything that's low leverage, everything that's repeatable, please just make AI automate that for you.
That's very true. That's very true. So most of the startups things like they only have like 10 people of team. The automation should exist where like they have hundreds of employees, but they do not like take it seriously when they have small teams and they say like literally we can just do it manually. So what's your thoughts on that? Like how a small teams can get benefit from automation?
Yeah, so I mean that's the trap, right? That's more of a mindset issue. If you're a small team and you think that way, then you're always going to be a small team. The big
Yeah.
companies that are scaling because they have systems in place and they allow themselves to scale. If you're always doing the manual tasks and you're manually doing onboarding every time, then now your time is not being focused on a higher leverage activity like sales and marketing and growth and strategy and the bigger picture things. So how do you expect to get to that next level when you're always in the weeds? A
Yeah.
10-person startup focusing like that is always going to stay a 10-person startup. And it's a hard pill to swallow because it's like you feel like you can just do everything. This is startup mode, and that's just how it is. But AI has
Yeah.
changed the game. This was true what you're saying maybe 5, 10 years ago. When you were a startup, you had no choice. You had to do these things. You had to wear 50 different hats. Now let AI wear most of the hats and you just do the most important thing. It's a mindset thing, but that's why we're seeing these startups scale so quickly.
Yeah.
They get founded and then within a couple of months they're worth millions of dollars and they're doing crazy numbers. It's only because they decided to automate and use leverage correctly. And that's the difference between you and them.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So, what do you think? What are the first tasks they should automate if they talk about like small teams?
Yeah, so I think communication, like on the sales front, so sending like automated emails to like a lead nurture sequence. Someone fills out a form on your website or responds to an ad. an email sequence. Like you should not be manually sending emails. You should sit down with your team, write really good email copy, turn those into templates, and then every time somebody, reaches out to you, have those emails get sent out on a schedule. This is day one email, day two, day three, day four, day five. And you should have a whole sequence built out for the next 3 weeks to the next couple of months, right? So you're not involved on that front. Same way with SMS or WhatsApp sequences. If someone is interested in your business, then have this communication that is automatically going out to them and you don't need to manually follow up. Same with the onboarding process. A big one also is content, like, repurposing content for LinkedIn, for Twitter, for TikTok, and all these different channels. If you are manually re-uploading and repurposing that content, then that's a complete waste of time. AI is very good at that. AI, there's these, social posters that you can create the content once and post it across every platform on autopilot, right? And then you can actually, in advance, build your social calendar, automate that so it posts automatically for you. It comes up with the captions, the hashtags, all of that stuff. You guys should not be manually posting on every platform because I'm sure you've noticed it. It's hard to keep up with that. You probably miss days, you forget to post, you get lazy. AI and automation doesn't get lazy. It will automatically post for you, and that's a big piece of it. So content is a whole different beast.
Yes, so true. And even like at NIC Faisalabad, I have noticed like most of the startups are still validating their ideas manually. Like if even if they got some new marketing idea, they just basically ask people around manually that if do you think will it work? Do you think will it work? How people can automate these validation and test fast and execute fast.
Yeah, there's lots of ways you can do that. I mean, I'm always talking to AI and Cloud all day, but hey, I have this idea. You're an expert in this market. Tell me about what you think. What are my blind spots? A lot of people go to Claude and like it acts as like a yes man. It agrees to everything you're saying and says you have the best idea ever. But I like to tell it, hey, no, play the devil's advocate. Try and find the flaws in my plan or tell me what I'm missing. And that's really when it becomes honest and exposes the blind spots. So use AI for that to help you just show the reverse of what are the problems with my idea? Why would this not be validated? Maybe you didn't think of a competitor or a law that stops your product from being, widespread. So use AI in that way. In terms of validation, your job is just to get in front of as many customers as possible. So there's different ways to do that. I mean, you can run ads to a wait list and see how many people are interested or sign up for that wait list. Organically, you can have AI post on Reddit threads or forums or these different things and just validate your idea by asking questions. Hey, does somebody have this problem? I'm thinking of making a solution for it, and see what the kind of response is. Have AI automatically message users or your ICP, people who are in your base, maybe on LinkedIn, and say, hey, we're building this product. I'd love to, reserve a seat for you because I'd love to get your feedback if this is something that's useful for you, and then give them a waitlist form. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. AI can automate a lot of this, but the idea is talk to as many people as possible. Go to founders events, go on events, lives like this, talk with people, share your idea, and just get feedback from the market. And AI can automate a lot of this.
Yeah, exactly. So Hamza, you've been working with a lot of businesses and you are running your a lot of businesses as well. Can you basically tell us any example or any case study where you have automated a very bigger problem of a business?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. So, for example, like I'll automate a specific business process for a big business, like the speed to lead example, right? So I have a roofing client who does over $10 million a year. They get hundreds of leads coming in every single week. It's very hard to keep up with 100 leads. So what we did is we built a voice receptionist who can actually call those leads and say, "Hey, I saw you're interested on our ads or our website. What's wrong with your roof? How old is it? What's your budget?" It goes through all of these questions. And then if it's a real lead, if they're qualified, it will book them directly on the calendar. And then a human will take over to conduct the experiment, the appointment. If it's unqualified, the human never sees it. They don't waste their time anymore. So now, like, this is a real live example of it's taking hundreds of calls every single week. No human is involved, and it's amazing. They love it. They're like, we don't have to chase our salespeople. We don't have to follow up with them, because AI is just handling everything within seconds. Within 5 seconds of that lead coming, AI is talking to them. So that's one example of like solving a specific problem because they just couldn't keep up with their lead volume. But then we can do like a bigger build out where we use Claude Code and we'll do like a custom SaaS development for a very big problem for a big organization. Like, for example, we have like an electrical company and they have to go out and like they've got all these different vans, they've got these different projects happening all at once, and scheduling and routing is a big thing because if so and so is in one province in one area and they're doing those projects, a new job comes in, we have to intelligently know where they are right now and then assign them that project because it's the most convenient thing. So we built a live routing thing where we can track the vans and use our GPS system to do a smart routing, and it's a beautiful build out, right? But that's a very complex problem that we did. But my job is, look, I'm like a doctor. I'll come to your business, I'll ask you questions, I'll find what problem you have, and I will prescribe the best solution, just like a doctor would. And I'll build you whatever that needs to be. And, Claude Code makes very much anything possible, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's so true. And even like most of the startups, biggest challenge is basically how to do lead generation. And I think automation and through AI, that's one of the best things. But here is one of the problem that I have noticed when you talk about like customer care, right? So for very early startups, you actually need to be very basically keen observer of your customer, but when you start automating the customer survey, it sounds like very robotic. So how to avoid that?
Yeah, so I mean, at early stages, the relationship you have with your customers is very important because you always need feedback, right? So, when you've closed the deal and they're actually a customer of yours, then yes, spend time doing care and support and being a good account manager. Most of what I'm talking about is before the sale is actually done, but once they're a customer, they're very important to you. You need them for case studies, for testimonials, for feedback, and really stay close with them. So I wouldn't recommend automating the support function at the early stages because your fifth customer should be talking to an AI chatbot because that can just lead to a worse experience. AI should come in on the support front when you just have way too much support that you can't handle it, because you really want to give them a good experience. So they give you referrals, they give you good case studies, and they can actually help you get more business. So that's a big thing that we do. Like I don't automate a lot of my support until we got very big. But when we started, even I was getting on support calls and talking with people because I wanted their feedback. Yes.
That's amazing. So Hamza, one of the biggest constraint of the startups, especially in Pakistan, is also the budget constraints, right? They cannot like spend much of their budget on basically experimenting things. So if for that reason, what do you recommend? What is the basic automation stack every founder should start using initially?
Yeah, the best tool that I think any business, even if they're in Pakistan or in like the US, is Go High Level. Like Go High Level, I think you're familiar with it. It's the greatest all-in-one tool that exists on the planet. Like it can do everything a business could need, from everything I've described, the marketing function to making AI agents, to creating your content, to auto posting your content, to doing the email sequences, the reputation management. It acts as your CRM, it does your scheduling, your booking. Like when you think of all in one, like this is the one tool for what, $97 a month that you can run your entire business on, unlimited users, and build everything that you need. So I've built my business on Go High Level. I even resell Go High Level. I'm their top, affiliate, their top SaaSpreneur, because there's no better software in the world that exists at that price point for that much value. So if there's anything that, you guys take away from this is that look into Go High Level, see what it can do. I mean, I have a million videos on my YouTube about it, so you can see its capabilities. But yeah, I mean, everything I've described up until this point, I also do inside of Go High Level. It does the automations, it does the AI agents, it does the workflows, and your business will transform overnight once you really master that software.
Yeah, exactly. So now, Hamza, I have seen like basically there are two types of startups here. One of the startups are like who are actually not using automation or AI at all, and one of the startups are like they are too much using
Yeah.
AI or too much using automation. So can you tell me like what are the signs if a founder has over automated the things or they have automated the wrong process?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. And it's a trap that a lot of people fall into, right? Because
Yeah.
automation can get addicting and it gets so addicting that you just do too much and then you end up doing nothing, and then you've automated a lot of the highest leverage tasks as well, which is the problem. Like you as a human should only be on the high leverage tasks because that's where AI doesn't do well. Like on strategy, on growth, on talking to customers, on validation, those kinds of things AI should not be doing, right? So like it depends on a case by case basis, but I think the ones that aren't doing enough automation, they can catch up. But if you're over automating, if you feel like you're spending your like most of your time building the systems instead of actually doing the tasks, then that's a bad sign. Like automation should not take up majority of your time, it should save you time. So I'd say if you're spending more than 30% of your day like just building out workflows and automating things, then that's probably a sign that you need to step back. And especially if it's a never-ending cycle, because it is. Like I automated this, but I can add on to it. I can always make an automation better and fall into that trap. So it's a mental thing that you kind of just have to take a step back and be like, look, I've done enough, but I'm automating too many high leverage tasks right now.
What you have observed, like what is the biggest mistake that founders make in automating or in adoption of AI?
A big thing is that they use it as their yes man. Like they talk to AI all day, they give it its ideas. They use AI for market validation instead of actually talking to customers instead. Because AI is going to say yes to whatever it's like a mirror. Whatever you say, it agrees back to you and it just falls into this cycle. So you think that you're getting good insight and you're actually learning something, but you're not. AI is just, talking to you in this with this vacuum. So what you need to do is actually go out and talk to customers, use AI as a tool to just get you in front of more human beings, your actual ICP, and then get feedback and ideas from them. So that's one of the biggest things is, just using it to validate your ideas. The other thing is also getting distracted by it because you've got your business idea, right? And it's you have your core product, you know what you're selling. But what's going to happen is because you have the ability to build anything at your fingertips, you're going to start going off course. You're going to start adding different features, you're going to overdo it, you're going to make it shinier, and then you might start building things which are not relevant to your core mission or your core product just because you can build them. Cloud Code gives us this false sense of productivity that if I'm building, then I'm being productive and then I'm actually, making my product better, which is not the case. Um, so just, have a third party, maybe, friends or family or someone else at the incubator, for example, look at what you're building and say, does this align with my core product or my mission? Or am I just building to build or just build something random, which is irrelevant? So I think having a third party oversee is very important. Like I'll show my friends or, my family, hey, I'm thinking of shipping this product. And they'll be like, why? That's not relevant. That's nothing to do with what your mission is. Stop wasting your time and get back to work. And a lot of people use it to procrastinate and avoid doing sales and marketing because sales and marketing is something that's scary for everyone, right? Like no one wants to get on Zoom meetings, no one wants to make cold calls. So let me just hide behind Claude Code and just talk to Claude all day so I don't have to make the cold call. Which requires some, accountability and just bravery to be like, you know what, I need to stop hiding and coping and just get to work, basically.
That's so amazing, Hamza. That's very good insight. So now I have also have observed, like especially with the founders, like that they are based out of Silicon Valley. So I've seen like they make their teams on the cloud and they make their teams or elsewhere on the go high level. They do set up their things. So I wanted to ask you a question for on the behalf of NIC Faisalabad's graduating startup. So before going to the investors, what stacks they should prepare with the help of AI to basically that can help them into basically entering into the new market or starting a new campaign.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that these VCs are going to want to see is market validation. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going after pre-seed funding and if you're even pre-revenue, then you absolutely need to have a tangible wait list or surveys conducted or, a buyer list waiting for people to say, yes, I actually want your product because that's the biggest risk for them. If you're building something that's new and innovative that hasn't been done before, then the demand is also unknown as well. And that's the biggest risk that these VCs have. So if you want to go pre-revenue, then absolutely you need to have something tangible to say, look, people want to buy our product and we just need your help fulfilling these orders. That's the biggest thing. If you're post-revenue, you have some money coming in, then at that point you really have to have solid metrics in terms of your revenue. So the monthly growth has to be solid. You have to, be growing every single month. Your customer base has to be growing, and then you need a plan for ascension as well. So what ascension means is that, look, you get people to buy your product once or maybe on a subscription, but how do you then get them to buy something more expensive or to buy again? So most people only think about level one, but you need to keep thinking about how do you ascend this customer and extract the most lifetime value out of them, because Silicon Valley loves, ascension. They love lifetime value, and they also love recurring revenue. Depend. I don't know what their business models are, but you can have recurring revenue, or you can have one-time offers and one-time revenue. Recurring revenue is fantastic, right? So if you can bake that into your business, turn it into like a subscription in some sorts, and just get people paying you every month, then that is something that they care about. But then if you become a subscription business, there's a whole bunch of different metrics that matter. So there's churn rate. Are people leaving your business and at what percentage? And then there's things like the like delinquent churn, voluntary churn. Then there's month over month growth. There's MRR. There's ARR. So there's these different metrics that are specific to your business. So what I'd recommend is, if you're sitting down with Claude, tell it everything about your business, what your business model is, and ask it what KPIs should I optimize for that, VC actually cares about. Because it's hard for me to give specific advice because there's so many business models. But just if you're pre or post revenue, then that's going to make the biggest difference. But yeah, it's exciting to talk to Silicon Valley and show them your products. So inshallah, it goes really well.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And one of the other thing is basically that I wanted to ask you that in startups, the basically human resource is a very changing thing, right? So they are continuously changing employees, they are continuously adding the new employees. So from to teach them like from basic to the level 10 is always a hassle, right? Like
Hmm.
what are the workflows that you manage, and what how you have automated these tasks and how to use these tasks. So I wanted to ask from your perspective, as you've been doing this from quite some time, how to document your workflows that your next coming employee can understand it easily.
Yeah, so there's some tools that exist. I think one is called Scribed, Scribd, and basically like they are SOP documenting tools. So basically what happens is you turn it on, you record your screen, and then you actually just do the task that you were doing anyway, or as you're building it, you basically just record it on Scribed. And then what it does is that breaks it down into ta step one, step two, step three, and it just breaks down your task into that SOP. So there are AI powered tools that can help you basically document what you're doing. If you want to not use any tools, then just, you can record your screen as well and kind of make your own mini course. I find the easiest way to teach someone is just to have a series of videos and just make your own course, talk with them directly, and that's an evergreen resource that will live forever. So every new hire that you get just has to take your course basically. They sit in, they watch your videos, they learn from you, and then they can basically put that into action. Then you can use Claude, take all the videos you made, and make a beautiful interactive onboarding sequence where it's like, maybe quizzes, questions, the videos are hosted there, and it's really an experience for these new hires. And then you can track their progress. So are they ramping at the correct speed? Are they finishing the videos on time? Are they answering the questions? It gives you feedback, and that can improve your ramp process as fast as possible. Because these new hires, if you tell them, hey, I need all these videos done in 2 days, they'll get it done in 2 days. If you tell them, I need these videos done in 2 weeks, they're going to take 2 weeks. So it's really up to you. You can just put your foot down and say, look, get this done. You can work a bit later today. It is a startup, right? So they understand that they do
Yeah.
need to, put in more effort and more time. But we do that. We automate our onboarding process using courses, videos, quizzes, and the results are really good.
Okay. Now, Hamza, I wanted to ask you a question that I also wanted to know the answer. Right now, like there is like abundance of AI tools. Like AI tools are bombarding on your brain these days. So, how do you basically understand that this tool is worth paying?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, if you're not willing to like try them out and pay to just see how they are, then easiest thing would be to actually just watch YouTubers and watch them basically do the reviews of these different tools, get their opinion, let them try it out, and see if it's right for you. More than often, like the new tools that are coming out, a lot of them are slop. Like, the main tools that we need are Claude Code, Higgsfield, like we talked about, Go High Level. All these other ones are just, extra. They're just fluff. Like they're not all required depending on what you need. So I would recommend, try the ones that have free trials, watch the ones on YouTube videos, see what people that you trust are saying about them. So find a good creator you trust, get their opinion on it. You get to see it in action as well. And also, you can also email a lot of these tools because their costs are very low. So some people I know email these tools and say, hey, I'm an incubator or I'm a startup or I don't have the funds right now. What can you do to help me out on the cost? A lot of them will give you 50% off. They'll give you a coupon. They'll give you a token. So it is a lot easier. People don't realize that they can negotiate with these tools. They're not that big. They're not that corporate. And oftentimes, they're like five-man teams, so they're more than happy to help you out there. And also, other creators will also have coupon codes too that they give out. Like a lot of companies give me coupon codes, which I then pass to my audience. So that's another benefit you can look for as well to make things cheaper for you.
Yeah, that's so true. So, Hamza, thank you so much for coming to this LinkedIn Live today. I learned a lot as always. We jump on a call, and I hope our audience also learned a lot of things from today's conversation. At the end, I wanted to, before we jump into the audience questions that they have commented on our live, so I wanted to ask you about your experience
Hello? Hello? Abu Bakr? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hey Hamza, sorry, my internet just got basically.
That's okay, bro. I thought it was me, but yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so it was like my internet basically, it just got plugged out and uh, I think our audience can also understand like this type of things are happens as we are an organization that's supporting startups. So startups
Hmm.
should basically also learn on how to basically tackle out these small problems. So I was asking you last question that looking ahead, which business functions do you believe will become almost completely automated for startups over the next 3 to 5 years?
I think the content creation process should get pretty much automated. AI is getting very good. I know you're thinking of getting Higgsfield, like the stuff that can make is super realistic in terms of images, videos. Like it's really good. There's no need to have a designer anymore. And then the posting process, that's completely automated by a social media agent that can just post directly on your social platforms. And then even responding to your DMs on Instagram or Facebook, all of that will be automated as well. So the content side really can get automated very quickly. The sales side, like I've been talking about, a lot of that will get automated, like the speed to lead stuff, email sequences, things like that. A lot of the admin related work, there's, like for invoices, contracts, collecting payments, follow-ups, things like that, can get automated very easily. Website creation function, like creating websites, landing pages, that's happening right now. And you just say a couple of words and all of that is automated and built out, which is amazing. So these functions all slowly are really just getting automated, and it's only going to get, even crazier. So I really don't know, what's going to be left. It's just, one founder can build a full business because everything else is taken care of.
That's so true, and also I believe, but only the creative side that has to be remain in the hands of the
Yeah,
human.
somebody has to be
Everything
giving the
else
AI
can go.
direction, and that's the
Yeah,
creative, the founder, the strategist. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Hamza. So I we have few questions in our chat box that people
Sure.
want to ask you. So one of the question is, as AI and automation tools continue to evolve, what skills should startup teams develop to stay competitive and make the most of these technologies?
Yeah, great question. So the skill in of itself is keeping up with the news and understanding what are the latest tools that are coming out, what do they do, what's the difference with this model, and just being able to jump on opportunity because there's new opportunity whenever a new tool comes out or a new model comes out, and that's an opportunity for you to integrate that into your business and take advantage of it. So that's one skill. The other is just understanding how to get the most out of AI, prompting it the best way, using the right settings, understanding how to basically extract as much value as you can. That's a huge skill of itself. And then just, staying sharp on your creative side, your critical thinking, everything that AI can do, that's what you should
Yeah.
just stay sharp on. So AI is kind of making all of us dumber, making us lazier. So, if we can, try and preserve our brain functions and still stay sharp, then that is something that you should work on and just, keep practicing. And don't rely on AI so much for your thinking because it's only going to make you weaker as a founder, which is an important skill.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this podcast today that we have done with a very amazing founder of Exona Systems, Hamza, who joined us all the way from Canada to give you guys the real insights on automation and how you can automate most of the repetitive tasks on your businesses. So please keep supporting us and see you next time. Allah
Sounds
Hafiz.
good. Thank you, Babakar. Take care, everyone.